Hello, beloved, and welcome to episode 0, the introduction of Pod Snacks, bite sized revelation and reflection for the hungry, holy, and healing. And I am your host, Dr. Queen G. I am the CEO of QueenGCreative, the founder of Living Unfiltered, and I'm a multi-medium, multi-hyphenate creative coach, consultant, educator, and public speaker. And my superpower is empowering people. So let me help you find yours. And we're going to do that through Pot Snacks today. I'm so excited to introduce this concept to you. I'm not new to podcasting. I had the Royal Room podcast with Queen G. I'm not new to being a guest on podcasts, and you might have heard me. You had me at Black or the Jamel Hill Podcast Network, where I was a featured guest, and my poetry was featured as well. I've been featured on a bunch of podcasts before, but this is something specific and special and new, and I want to introduce it to you. So I already told you a little bit about who I am, but I don't want this to be about titles or status or position. I am a creative, neurodivergent, first generation Liberian American, plus size Black girl, constantly doing the worthy work of undoing in order to become. And you'll hear me use that phrase a lot, worthy work. It comes from the praxis that we've established over at Living Unfiltered, where we utilize community, accountability, strategic affirmation practices, and storytelling and faith to help people live their most unfiltered, unapologetic, unadulterated lives in abundance. And we have women from all over the country and some from around the world. And now we actually are engaging a great population with men who are doing the worthy work as well. What is worthy work? It is the process of undoing in order to become. It is replacing limiting beliefs and lies the enemy told you about yourself, your identity, lies trauma told you about yourself and your identity. And it's using faith, strategic affirmation practices, and community to rewire how your brain thinks. We tap into the reality of neuroplasticity, your brain being able to develop and create new neural pathways. We know that trauma reshapes your brain and creates pathways, but what we've learned is that due to neuroplasticity, we can create new ones. So you are not bound to what your pain tells you, to what your trauma tells you. It does take strategy, consistency, effort. It's a lot of work, but it's the most worthy work that you will ever do in your life. And that's part of my passion and my life's work. You'll see me in a lot of different spaces and places. And I believe that I'm called to be a multi hyphenate. And it is my quirks and the particular and peculiar things about me that make me equipped for my purpose. Just because that's true, it doesn't make it simple. It doesn't make it easy, but it makes it worthwhile. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you. Let's get into why why pod snacks, right? There are a million different podcasts. Why pod snacks? I tend to be a verbose, long-winded girly. Why is this the approach? Well, let's try to get through this pretty quickly. So I'll share pretty much 5 points as to why we are introducing pod snacks and what pod snacks is about. Well, first, point one is that it doesn't have to be long or elaborate to be excellent. That is a revelation to me. I am a recovering perfectionist and I live in the realm of doing the most. And I have been conditioned, and thank God for, undoing that conditioning, right? But I've been conditioned to believe that it has to be of the highest caliber, it has to be the most, and it requires a bunch of effort. When you have that mentality as someone with a neuro spicy brain, you can get overwhelmed easily. You can get into analysis paralysis, and it starts to become hard to see the forest from the trees. And what I'm learning is that it can be deeply impactful, profound, and powerful. And it doesn't have to be the most, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be efficient and effective and succinct. For a chatty girly who wants everything to be to the utmost, that is definitely a lesson. So this is a practice in that for me, as much as it is an effective tool for you, because it doesn't take a whole hour. It's just bite size, baby. We're just going to share reflections and revelations for those who, who this is for. So two, I want to offer something that feeds holiness, hunger, and healing. Hence the wordplay in that way. I want to feed the people in a different platform in a way that is easily accessible and relatable. And for those of you who are believers and you are pursuing holiness, I want to feed that. But if you're not even quite there yet and you have a hunger to grow and to evolve, I want to be a source in a place where you can feed and eat well, even if it's just a snack, right? And I want to also, I believe that I not only have the spiritual gift of healing, but that I'm called to help people heal in the work that I do. And so I want to feed people who are hungry for healing. But speaking of hunger, point three is I want to address the three different kinds of hunger, right? The hunger for more, people who desire to grow, to evolve, to be healed and healthy and whole, who understand that it is a journey that they're going to be on their whole life. But because this worthy work is the most worthy work they're going to do, they are committed to the process. They're practicing offering themselves grace. And even if they don't know how to do these things, they're hungry to learn. Like, they will not settle for less. Those are the people that I want to speak to. That's why this is a pot snack for the hungry, right? It's a pot snack for the hungry, for those who are hungry for their purpose. There's a dream over your life. There's a dream that God has for your life. And maybe people around you or people that you've known previously are content with it being a little bit less. They're content with going the simplest route, so to speak. But there's something in you that's like, I gotta live out what's in me. There's a seed of excellence, of brilliance in me, and maybe I haven't seen it before, but I gotta live it out. Maybe I've never seen any previous generation do what I feel called to do, but I don't mind trailblazing. I don't mind curse breaking. I have to live a life poured out. I've got to seek it. I've got to find it. I've got to know it. This is for those who are hungry for purpose, right? And this is also those who are hungry for righteousness. The book of Matthew in chapter 5 talks about, like, blessed are those who thirst and hunger for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Jeremiah 29 and 13. We know 29 and 11 a lot, but 29 and 13, it talks about how those who seek him with their whole heart, they're going to find him. And this is for those who may be unconventional, they may be misunderstood, but their heart is to pursue righteousness. They believe what the good book says, or at least they want to, and they're truly on this journey to live in righteousness. And this is especially for you if you're in any of those categories, but especially if you find yourself in all three, then this is your bag. And I wanted to speak to that hunger. I also wanted to speak to those who find eating as a way of life. And I say that as an additional play on words, because what do we often say to each other? We'll be like, "Oh, she ate that. Oh, she ate that. That was good." Right. I want us to have a community of people who make a lifestyle out of eating. You pursue something professionally. Oh, sis, you ate that. Oh, you put that drip on, you dripped out. Oh, you ate that. Wow, look at how you love people around you and build community. You really ate that, right? So I'm looking for people who want to eat as a way of life. And the last thing that I'll say is that we've already talked about this, but people committed to the work, and I reiterate worthy work a lot so y'all can get it in your brains, but that's what I want. I believe I'm called to healing in very many capacities. I believe my superpower is empowering people, and part of that is pulling back the veil, undoing the layers, getting to the root so that you can live your most unfiltered, unapologetic, unadulterated life in abundance. And I want to do that in an authentic and honest way that meets you at your personal, professional, spiritual, emotional, mental space and place. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, welcome, beloved. Again, my name is Dr. Queen G. My superpower is empowering people. So let me help you find yours. And if you stumbled across this little pie snack, it's because purpose isn't finished with you, and neither am I. And I'll see you for our next pod snack for episode 1.